12 plus years of experience into IT domain. So where I worked with multiple technologies, multiple organizations, and then apart from a lead instructor in radical technologies, I also do corporate trainings and trainings at university. So my roadmap has been working with databases tool, that is your SQL Server, Oracle Server, and then getting that data from your databases tool to the reporting tool. So reporting tools are basically Tableau, ClickView, Power BI. So we get the data from the client, we analyze the data, we clean the data, we then structure the data, and then that data is taken ideally to a reporting platform. That platform can be Excel also. We can take the data and put it into the Excel dashboards as well. Also, we can get the data and put it into Power BI and Tableau reporting. So that is how the roadmap has been for me. So now what we are doing is here in this particular batch of data analytics, we are going to provide you multiple technologies together. That is why the name of the batch is Data Analytical Combo. So let me quickly present my screen so that I can help you understand what exactly this course is going to provide you. So, okay, so I am presenting my screen. Just confirm if you can see the screen, and then I can take it forward from there.
Yes, you are visible.
Okay, thank you. So now the first slide is just about like people who are focused, who can be a part of this session. So everybody who is graduate developers and people who are experienced and who want to be a part of data analytics, who want to upskill, who want to change their domain. So they can be a part of this entire course. Now, in this course, what we are going to learn is we are going to start with Excel. So Excel is just nothing, the Excel which you use on a regular basis, that is your Microsoft Excel, which is again provided by it's one of the component in your Office 365. So under Microsoft Excel, I just mentioned limited content here. So we have a proper content which is maintained in a template. If you want, we can pass that template to you so that you can go through the topics. So under Excel, we are going to start with very basic. So it is going to be basic to advanced level of Excel, the introduction of Excel, what are the different functions we have, different operators, the basic to advanced charts, then how do you validate the data, how can you use your Excel data to basically create a pivot table, VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, then how do you create charts, or basically I can say how do you create a dashboard using your Excel data, and with that Excel data, how do you create your dashboards and reports. So many a times what has happened is did not have reporting tools in the market. There were many people, or you can say all over the globe, people were using Excel as one of the base tool, and Excel they were using as the tool to create your dashboards and reports. Now what has happened is just because the data handling capacity of Excel is not very huge, at the same time the reports and the dashboards in Excel are not very, they are interactive, but then they're not very in the sense they're not very appealing with respect to look and feel, and also they are not very secure the way you want your reporting data to be secure. So let's say if you're working with a banking client or maybe finance client, in that cases what happens is the client always demands for a very secure environment. Also they want to work with huge amount of data, so that is not supported by Excel. But then still Excel can be taken as one of the promising source where you can get millions and trillions of data, and you can pull that data into your reporting structure. So that is how we are going to see the multiple basic to advanced level of features of Excel. So once we are done with Excel, I think we will be focusing 10 to 12 hours into Excel. So also it will be having a mini project where all those functions and concepts which we will be learning will be converted into that mini projects. At the same time, when we cover up some 8 to 10 concepts of Excel, we would be giving you like small assignments so that you can do hands-on. So ultimately this entire course is going to be like from the day one it is going to be hands-on. We'll help you to install all the tools which are related to this particular combination batch. At the same time, we will be having like assignments so that you can do things practically along with me in the session, apart from the sessions also. So that is how the Excel is going to be carry forwarded. Now, Then once we are done with the Excel, we are going to start with SQL. So currently we have not decided, are we going to start Excel first or are we going to start SQL first? Both is okay. I mean, few batches people recommend, okay, we want the Excel to be started first. There are few who say SQL. So that doesn't matter. Any part which you take up, either Excel, either SQL, both of them are again interrelated. Whatever functions you're learning in Excel, they are going to be repeated in your SQL also. So we can pick up anything. So let's say coming again to the agenda of SQL. So the full form of SQL is structured query language. So what do you mean by SQL? So it is, you can say SQL is basically a mediator between two channels. So who are those two channels? So one channel is nothing but the user and one is the database. So database is a warehouse where everything will be kept. Okay. So I'll put it into Excel so that I can put into practical. So how SQL is going to help you as a part of your data analytics course. So SQL is going to be a mediator. So it is also known as a transformer. So this is where your SQL sits. And this is your databases. So databases, I mean, we have a variety of databases. So we have SQL Server, that is one, the very well-known one, and which is used in every company, you can say. Then we have Oracle. Okay, just let me correct the spelling. We have Oracle. Then we have IBM DB2. We have Postgre, and then so on. There are, I mean, this is a spelling mistake. Postgre. There are lots of databases, but the hot ones you can say they are SQL Server, Oracle, Snowflake, and recently there's a lot of demand for Snowflake. So this is like online portal, but then remaining all has to be installed into your system. So these all require a proper installation. Snowflake is basically a database which is completely web. So this is web application. Now, talking about databases, SQL is basically a language. So you can say it is a language. Okay. It's a language, or you can say it is also a programming language. People refer it to a language. People also address it to a programming language where you're not basically writing programs, but with the help of simple, small sets of queries. We will not tell it. We will not address like codes. They are not codes. They are simple syntaxes with the help of which we will be generating your logics. So SQL, the databases, and then at the last you will be having the users. So this users can be anything. This users can be maybe workers, they can be maybe developers, they can be SMEs. So SMEs means subject matter expert. So if I just highlight these 3 points quickly, let's say my databases, my SQL, and the users. Okay, so now the user want to fetch some information from the databases. Now this database will hold data of historical pattern, 10 years older, 15 years older, also the recent data. So database does not mean only the historical data plus it will have the current data, or you can say it will hold the latest data. Now if the user want to understand like what was the business in the previous year as compared to previous year, what is the current business, something like that. So all this information will be available in the databases. Okay, because databases can hold historical data and the current data. So now depending on what kind of a data user want to derive or what kind of a data user want to fetch out of the database, so he is going to start writing SQL queries. So SQL query is nothing but the combination of your different commands. It is not codes, they are commands. Different commands are combination of your syntaxes. Okay, so we have different syntax. With the help of the syntax, what the user will do, the user will go to the platform of SQL Server. So let's say this is my SQL Server application. So it will go to SQL Server application. He will start writing the SQL command. This SQL command with help the user to communicate with the databases. Now, let's say if you want to understand currently, this is my category. My category is furniture. How is my category furniture doing in the states of Pune or in the state Pune, Maharashtra. Pune belongs to Maharashtra. So if I want to see my category, how it is doing in Pune, Maharashtra, how my category is doing in maybe some parts of Karnataka. So if you want to retrieve this kind of information, every time you have to write your SQL command, SQL syntaxes, and then we can get the data from your databases. So that is how your SQL will be used. Now, 80% of the time in your live projects, you always pull the data from your databases. So I'm not saying Excel will not be used. Excel is also there, but why companies shift from Excel to SQL? The reason is data handling capacity. Because Excel cannot handle like more data, huge data. After a period of time, you have to shift your focus from Excel 1 to Excel 2. So sometimes it actually gets tedious to maintain so many Excel for the same kind of a data. That is why companies always believe to dump their data into SQL Server. So this is how we are going to learn SQL Server, like how your Excel will be falling short of the total number of records which you want to store. So basically we will be learning SQL in depth, what are databases, why SQL is needed, what are the benefits, how we will be learning different constraints, different joins again basically means when you want to make relationship between the tables. So you have three different tables, so now you want to get the data from table number 1, table number 2. So the table 1, 2, 3 individually, they will help you to get the data. But when you want to combine the data, or let's say if you want to get the data from all the 5 tables or all the 3 tables at once, in that cases you have to follow the process of combining the data. So that process is known as joins. So we have different types of joins, like very four well-known joins. I think you might be aware also. So we have 4 types of joins: left join, right join, full outer join, and inner join. So again, we are going to cover everything practically. How do we connect the data? How do we connect the table? How do we pull the data out of it? And then how do we manipulate the data? So based on the requirement, we will just be doing simple programming, and we would be getting the data out from your databases. So that is what we are going to learn, the different commands into your SQL Server. After that, once we are done with SQL, or let's say databases, we are going to see how do we pull this data. So basically the data of your databases is going to act as an output to your reporting tool. So once we are done with your SQL, we are going to see how can we connect your Power BI with the SQL data. Ultimately, we are going to see how do we connect Power BI with your Excel data. Now, Power BI can connect to 100 plus sources. So what is Power BI? Power BI is again a application by Microsoft. Now Power BI is a tool which can integrate with Excel. It can integrate with your databases, and then you can convert that entire data in the form of reporting. That is nothing but your presenting data in the form of charts and dashboards. So that is how we are going to make the course SQL, then Excel, then we are going to take that data into Power BI. So the output of Excel and the output of your SQL Server is going to be known. I mean, or you can say that data, which is the output of your SQL, output of your Excel, is going to be taken into your Power BI. So this output of SQL Excel is going to act as an input to your Power BI reporting tool. Same data, you can take it to other reporting tools also. So there's no compulsion that you should always follow Power BI, or any reporting tool is okay. Just because we are learning a data analytics platform, we are into this roadmap. So under this roadmap, this is how the data goes. And this is the normal working or channelizing method of any business intelligence industry. You always get the data either from SQL, either from Excel. That data, once it is analyzed, once the data is clean, we take it to reporting. Why? Because databases and Excel, they are not going to help you to design some interactive reports. They are just going to help to store the data. Now this data, we need to put it into a visualization, that is graphical user interface. So just to present the raw data in the form of your what you say, visualization, we connect this data to your reporting tool. So under this data analytics combo, earlier we used to take Tableau, but just because the demand for Power BI is like almost like increased since last 2-3 years. I mean, the hype in the market is there since 1 year, but then yes, since last 2-3 years, it is doing really very good. So then now we have replaced Tableau to Power BI. There are few batches where we are giving the combination of both. I mean, we are focusing 20 hours on Power BI and let's say 7 to 8 hours on Tableau. So even that is doable. But ultimately, when you're learning Power BI in this course, I mean, I always do relate Power BI, Tableau, Power BI. So you'll get to know what are the common features, what are the features are available only in Power BI, not in Tableau. So you can like relate like 50% Power BI, Tableau, they are same. And remaining 50%, definitely they have a different way how it works, because again the products are coming from two different companies, so they do have their own limitations, pros and cons. But then yes, Power BI is leading since last 7-8 years in the market, and that is how, looking at the current demand, we have and focused your in Power BI for this combination batch. So under Power BI, again, we are going to learn like different versioning. Power BI is a Microsoft product, so it has a monthly releases. Currently, it has monthly releases because of the their market strategy, you can say, or they have monthly releases because they want more people to come and use it. Also, their rates are very less. It is like $10 per month. Okay, for the paid versions. For the free versions, you already have it for 90 days. Earlier, till the last month, it was for 60 days. Now they have increased their one more month of free versioning, that is 90 days. So if you download it today, for next 90 days, you can use their desktop, which will be helpful for creating the reports. At the same time, once your reports are created, you can publish that reports to server. So even server free licensing has been increased from 60 days to 90 days. So we are going to see all of this, like how do we create the reports, how do we analyze the data, how do we publish those reports. So again, this is just the brief what I've highlighted here. This is not the exhaustive list. So that is what we are going to see in Power BI end to one. We are going to see few of the case studies. Then projects are there everywhere. We have projects for your SQL. We have a mini project for Excel. Similarly, we will be having like mini projects for your Power BI also. And under Power BI, the main focus is always on DAX, that is your data analytical expression. So this is, you can say, almost like 50-60%. This is similar to Excel. So whatever topics we are going to cover in Excel, it is going to be a little repetitive here. But then DAX in Power BI is more powerful than the formulas which you write in your normal Microsoft Excel. So that is how we are going to correlate and we are going to understand each of them. And then, yes, again, if you need to understand what are the end-to-end topics we are going to cover in the Power BI session as a part of your data analytics combo. So we have the material ready, the template ready. You can have a look at it. Okay, so that is about your Power BI. So first SQL, Excel, then we'll go to Power BI, that's a reporting tool, and then we are going to move to Python. So Python is usually, again, the last application, or you can say the last technology which we touch. So once you are done with understanding data, analyzing data, converting that data in the form of reports and dashboard, then we take that data to Python. Now Python again has an integration in your Power BI by default. So you can see the connector with the help of which you can get the Python related libraries, Python related packages into Power BI. Okay, but then here we are going to separately install one of the application that is known as Anaconda application. So we are going to install Anaconda application for Python. Then we are going to write small codes. So now here I can confidently say when you are learning Python, we are going to write small codes, small libraries and packages. But in SQL, Excel and Power BI, we're not. It's completely code free. Only databases or SQL is the place where we are going to write programming languages, some syntaxes, but the main coding or the main scripting, if I talk about, is going to happen in Python. So again, we have a basic to intermediate level of Python code designed for this data analytics combo batch. Where we are going to understand the structure of Python, what all Panda libraries we have, what are the important libraries, how do we work with tuples and functions, and then gradually we are going to end the Python with your machine learning algorithms and then predictive analysis. So that is a whole lot of basic to intermediate level of Python. Okay, and then these are the 4 main platforms where your data analytics journey starts and ends. Now somebody who wants to be they want to learn data science, then we have one more technology which gets added, but I think that's completely optional. That is the R language. So R language, I don't think you should get yourself ready with 2 programming language. One is more than sufficient. The more you try to do, I think sometimes it gets confusing for you to like which should be the most preferred one. So based on the current market, that is what the demand is. Excel, your SQL, pick up one SQL tool. So the way I said, a SQL Server is a very older tool. That is why it is most preferred. So once you learn SQL, similarly, you can do Oracle on your own. Because again, the platform is same, just that it is different in, you can say, some concepts, some functions, some logics writing. Otherwise, they are same. Just like you have Tableau and Power BI, they are same. But definitely, Power BI is far better because it has incorporated all the limitations which are there in Tableau. So that is why it is easy to understand, easy to deal, because again it is similar to your Excel. So I mean, yeah, you can do pretty much more work with your Power BI, also because of the licensing. So we have 90 days of licensing, but in Tableau it's only for 14 days. So 14 days are definitely not sufficient to understand the tool and be with the tool. So that is how this different platforms differ, and then we have merged all of the four technologies together. So after that, again, we will be having a mini project for Python. So we will be having small assignments after a few concepts of Python. Then we have assignments planned. After assignments, we have the project plan. So you will be getting individual projects, individual assignments where we have a deadline, like within this time period of time, you should be able to submit them, so that we rectify and then we come back to you. Okay, so we are not leaving the assignments entirely on your behalf, because it's understandable when you're coming and getting trained on something, you definitely need some hand holding. So yes, that would be there. So I think this batch would go around 2.5 to 3 months, because the course is vast and we are taking every course from basic to advanced level. So it is going to take time, but then yes, at the end it is going to be a package of data analytics combo. So again, I mean, we do provide you like supports for your interviews, for organizational job descriptions, this combination, and then you can start applying. Now many a times what happens is people do perform data analytics course, but sometimes they feel like, okay, I should, after the course is done, I just have a thinking, or maybe I did a lot of researches, so I think SQL and Power BI is a good combo now. So that's even okay. So you can, once you're done with the batch, it is completely up to you. Do you want to pick up any two combination? You can go with it. So you can pick up in Power BI, that's fine. You can pick up Excel and Power BI, that's fine. But as a person, I mean, for me, I would always recommend you to go with SQL and Power BI. I mean, definitely Excel and Python, so you have it there. But if you feel like I mean, though I've done the entire course, but now I just want to focus on two technologies, I will be putting in my resume, okay, I know Python, I know Excel, that you have to mention definitely. But then now many a times, what kind of openings we have in the market? SQL and Power BI, sometimes we have Power BI plus Python. So according to that, you have to switch your resume, you have to make these changes to your resume. I mean, so you have multiple job descriptions. Nobody will tell you we need a data analyst. I mean, sometimes you might have this requirement, but usually you have a requirement which says SQL and Python, SQL and your Power BI. So that is why we have a course which will be giving you insights to all the four tools. And accordingly, when you see the job description, you can decide for yourself. Do you want to apply for SQL Power BI role? That's completely okay. If you see a role that is SQL and Python, or maybe let's say Power BI and Python, you can decide. So there is no requirement that when you're doing a course of all the four applications, all four needs to be applied at once. No, you can pick them into bits and pieces. You can start applying. So that is how the current market also demands. So I've seen few of the openings which is demanding the entire course, but most of the time I've seen like they are like databases, because that is the core. Databases, Power BI, and this is the very well-known combination: databases, Power BI, and Python. This usually go hands in hand. And then, because why not Excel? Because Excel is like basic. Everybody knows how to work with Excel. But in the course, definitely we are going to cover the basic to advanced roadmap, so that you understand like how you can use the features, the advanced features of Excel, and then connect that Excel to your applications of your SQL and your application of your Power BI. So this is how we are going to move forward. And then lastly, this is one of the company, business intelligence company, that is the Gartner's company. Every year in the month of March, they release their chart. So this chart itself is known as the Gartner's chart. So if you see, Power BI is a leading technology here. Okay, almost since last 2015 it was launched. So it's almost been 8 years. Power BI has been leading. Then you have Tableau. So Tableau of your software, Tableau software, but it has acquired by Salesforce in the year 2019. That is why the name is Salesforce instead of Tableau software here. And then you have the remaining technologies. So these two are leading, but Tableau is the second, and the Power BI is being the first since last 7-8 years. Then we have different versions of Power BI. So we have 3 versions of Power BI. So we are going to work with desktop, Pro and Premium, they are the advanced versions, or you can say they are the licensed version, the paid versions. So for your practice, SQL also we are going to use trial. Power BI is going to be trial. Excel everybody have installed, so no extra installation is required. Yes, but if you're using Excel 2013 or maybe Excel 2020, then yes, definitely we would want you to shift to Excel 2016. So that would not be a, I mean, I don't think that will be a big new change. But then yes, it would be better if we go with 2016, so that you and me, we both can relate to same things, because many options are not there in 2020, 2013. So now I do have 2019 of Excel, but then okay, even we can work like people having 2016 and 2019. Hardly few options are missing, but then yes, it is good to go instead of having 2010 and 2013. So that is how we are going to see the different free versions, trial versions of all these all these three tools along with your Excel. And then we are not going to cover this factor. We are not going to cover as of now in today's demo the features of Power BI. We already know Power BI is like one of the leading tool in the market, and then being you can say being the most used tool and a very user friendly tool, the demand is still increasing, and we have, I mean, we are looking for open positions. So currently, we do not have any positions below 1 year, but then for 1 year and about 2 years, there are lots of positions open for Power BI and for your SQL Server. Okay, so that is how we are going to cover different features of all the four applications. And then here I've listed few of the topics, or you can say few of the building blocks of Power BI. So we have 5 building blocks of Power BI, where Power Pivot means we are going to make the connection between the tables. Power Query means once you make the connection between the tables, Power Query will help you to clean the data. So I know this might be a little difficult to digest because there's no tool installed here. I'm just giving you a brief about what are the building blocks. So usually there are 4 building blocks, and then Power Pivot is where you make the connection between tables. Power Query is the place where you basically clean the data and you make the data appropriate as per your requirement. Once the data is appropriate, you find it is suitable, you can then take this data to Power View. So Power View is the place where you so Power Pivot and Power Query, they both are going to help you to create the reports at the Power View. Okay, so view means you're trying to create a visualization. Then Power Maps. So Power Maps is like a place where we can create multiple maps which are not available into your lower tools other than your Power BI. So you can almost create 4 to 5 maps, different types of dynamic maps in Power BI, which is not the feature of any other application. That is why they again come under the important components or the important building blocks of Power BI. And definitely at the last, we have DAX language or maybe DAX calculation. So the full form is data analytical expression. So under DAX expression, this is similar to your Excel, and here we are going to write the formulas at a higher level. So anything which Excel can does, definitely the DAX of Power BI will be able to do. But then DAX have a different categorization, some 7 to 8 categorization, like logical functions, text functions, your string functions, then you have your parent-child relationship function. So everything we are going to write it, and then we are going to understand them scenario-wise. So that is what the components or the building blocks of Power BI conveys. Now, this is the small overview of Power BI, like how the data in Power BI flows. So we can readily see we have different, the way I said, we can connect different data sources to your Power BI. So with the help of get data, you're going to get the data from multiple sources. It can be any source. If you want to talk about PDF, or let's say if you want to get the CSV file, that is comma separated file, into your Power BI, you can just get the data and then start creating logics and converting that data in the form of reports. So that is what get data means. Then we have ETL process. So ETL process, the full form is extract, transform, load. So if I just give you in short what ETL will help you to do. So ETL will help us to get the data from XYZ sources, clean the data, and then just load the data to the report level. Okay, now between the report level and the cleaning level, we have the option to apply the formulas. Those are nothing but known as the DAX formulas. So once we apply the formula, we can then build the report on top of those formulas, and then once the report is built, that report will be shared with the users, with the stakeholders, so that they can see, I mean is the report up to the mark. They can analyze the numbers, whether the numbers are correct, and they can perform their own demonstration on the report. So that is why once the report is created, we always look for a server based application or a mobile based application of Power BI to publish that data. So we can get Power BI on your Power apps. We do have it. We have it for tablets, and then different environments. That is your production environment, your Power BI server environment. You can publish it. So that is what the different workflow of Power BI highlights. So once it is published, the main benefit, or you can say the main purpose of publishing a Power BI report, or let's say a Tableau report, is because people can have the access and they can understand, like, is the report has the report turned out the way you were actually looking into, right? So on any given point of time, you never get the details at all. I mean, at once you don't get the details. The details will always be coming in slowly and steadily. So you will get a work for 2 weeks or maybe for a month, and then you can start working on it. So we usually follow agile methodology in IT companies. So agile methodology means, earlier we used to follow SDLC. The full form is Software Development Life Cycle. So for many years, we used to follow SDLC. So difference between SDLC life cycle and your agile life cycle is, in SDLC, what used to happen is, if you are getting a work for a particular week, then you are continuing and completing the entire work. Once the work is done, then you're going to client and showcasing your work. So in case if the client was expecting some another output, your output is something else. So the efforts are gone. But in agile methodology, what happens is, agile itself means we can self-define the pace. We can also define how much of work we are going to take up for the particular week or a month, and then we can share the work immediately. We don't need to wait for the day when the meeting is schedule. So agile in methodology will help you to rectify the errors quickly. Your time will be saved, and at the same time, you can see whether you and your client is on sync or not. Whatever messages he is passing to you, whatever information of data is giving to you, are you able to understand, and whether you're able to put that data in the form of reports, or let's say in the form of your SQL queries. So if this is in sync, what happens is, we can then work, and we can then create our narrations of reports on your environment. Okay, so that is what happens in reporting tools. And then once we are done with the assignments, with all the four section, that is SQL, Excel, Power BI, Python, we would be having a live projects. So live projects will again be available. So this live projects will help you to understand how does the data flow in the company. So there are two ways. Either a company will be following end-to-end process, that is getting the data from SQL or let's say Excel, cleaning that data, analyzing that data, working on the data, and then getting the data into Power BI, and then using Python. That is one way. Few companies databases and your Power BI, they might not go to Python. So this is completely driven by your client. If they have any data available in the Python, then they will connect your Python with Power BI. So connecting is not a big issue. But when you're connecting anybody to your application of Power BI, it is your duty to understand an application. Until unless you don't understand how Python works, what are the libraries, what is the different what we say Matplotlib syntaxes, we will not be able to get that data into Power BI. So anytime with the help of connector, you can pull the data in. But once you do not know how do you read the data into that particular application, it gets difficult to pull the data and create that data in the form of charts. So that is why the basics of this application, the third party application, is good if you have the client data into Python. If you do not have the data of client into Python, then definitely your SQL and Power BI, or let's say SQL and Tableau, are going to help you. But if there is something available into that application, then yes, you need to have the basic knowledge of the third party application. So in our case, Python is a third party application. So once you get the knowledge of that application, then you can start using that application for your future use. But otherwise, I mean, still depends. People can go with the combination SQL Power BI, or let's say SQL Power BI and Python. So that is how the roadmap happens. If you do not have data in Python, you are never going to connect your Python to Power BI, right? But then I mean, I've seen few job descriptions where people are saying good to have basic knowledge in Python. It's an additional benefit. So that is how it has been again included to your data analytics combo. After Python, we have R coding. I mean, we do not have plan. So we do not plan R when we go do data analytics at anywhere, not only to this current batch. So R is, I mean, completely different roadmap. But then yes, we do not connect R with Tableau or Power BI, but usually we connect your Python codes to your Tableau, and we do connect your Python codes to Power BI also. So that is what we are going to see. Okay. And lastly, these are like few scenarios I've just added up here. These are few assignments which we have planned, and also I think one or two assignments have been created by the participants of the previous batches. So I have just added the data here. One is call center, then we have your HR related data. This is data for some stores, and this is call center. Okay, so these are all in Power BI. So some data we have connected with the help of Excel. Some of the reports we are getting the data from your databases. So you may not be able to understand whether this data is from Excel or from your different sources. So once you put the data into application, the ways, or you can say the process is same, even you will not be able to identify as a end user. So let's say if I have created the report, I cannot tell you whether the data, underlying data, whether it is data from PDF or let's say the data from SQL Server. No, because once you get the data inside, you will not be able to understand. I mean, you as a developer will understand, but then the stakeholders might not know this report is created on the basis of what. So generally, this report is on the basis of Excel. Some data from Excel is coming. Few of the tables are coming from your SQL Server, and then you have pulled that data into your applications, reporting application. That is how the reports are being created. So this is the roadmap we are going to follow. So I think that's what I had for this session. Now, if we have any questions, feel free to mention, and maybe I can help them out to answer for you. Okay, so I think Tejas was not able to attend. Okay, Somi, if you have any questions, yes, Nikita, even you can put your questions
Yes.
related to data analytics.
Yeah. I want to know the total hours of course and how will you allot that?
A lot in the sense, okay, total hours.
Allot for Excel. For Excel, you said that 10 to 12 hours,
Correct,
12
correct,
hours are there.
correct, correct.
So for SQL and PBI and Python, how will
Yes,
you
yes.
allot?
So the hours are already allotted. We'll just send you the exact, I mean, the durations for each of the applications. So Mohini will help you with that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So it
Okay.
is going to still
And
take
project
people.
for project, you will be there, right?
Yeah, I'm there for project. We are going to help you with the project so that you can put it into a resume. See, anyways, it is going to be a complete hand to hand practice. So by the time you do hands on, you'll get to know like this is how you get the data and you work on it. Let's say today we are working on the data of pharmaceutical. You may not get the pharma data into your
Hmm.
real world of IT, but then you can still relate that data. And just because you want to showcase that data into your resume, so yes, we are there to help you out. And we also have resume building, this mock interviews. I'm not sure, but then yes, they do have resume building in some sessions for preparation where you can like solve the doubts. But then anyway, I'm there as a trainer. But then we have this extra sessions also provided by Radical, job opportunities, assistance, interviews preparation, and the resume buildings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be happy if you provide mock interviews also.
Okay, okay. Yes, yes. Let's see how it goes. So first we can just focus on being I mean you also already there in the morning session. So you have already
Yeah.
told that basic I also have never done any Power BI courses because Power BI we started 4 years back. That time there was, I mean, there was boon, but not the way we have the boon of Power BI in the current market. Now you have so many things available, but then why still people prefer a trainer, an instructor, though you have so many activities available? Because see, you remember in the morning we have somebody that he learned so many things from
Yeah.
YouTube. Still, why he's ready to invest? Because you don't know, you need a path to learn a specific technology.
Yeah.
On online
Definitely.
platforms you do have things available, right? So I mean, they're not in a synchronized way. They will never tell you the difficulty part. The moment I was telling him in the morning, the main focus is only on the data cleaning part. Reporting, anybody can do it, right? It is just customizing, putting
Yeah.
colors, adding data. The gist of the tools are how much basics are clear. Once your basics are clear, you are able to answer in the interview, you're able to do the hands-on. Advance is like you, I mean, even I learn advanced part hands-on when we do live projects. And like then the rest is Google is always there with you. So base is always important for any reporting tool or any I mean, not only in the IT sector, anywhere you go. Once that is clear, those concepts are clear, interview you always start from a basic level only. And once that is, and I think and if you're consistent with the course, I don't think it's very difficult to work on the real time projects. So implementation, it is not only training. See, training is going to be one part. How much efforts you are putting, how much of assignments you are doing, what extra work you are doing, so that has to go hand in hand. If that is there, I don't think it will be a very challenging to get into jobs. So that is how, like, the roadmap is basically okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, because of my gap, I am
Yeah.
little bit afraid.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, definitely 2014 and now being here,
Yeah.
so it is a gap, but then I think that's a big step you're taking. You're trying to get back to IT, or you're planning to restart your career. So I think that's completely okay. Nobody's going to ask you like, okay, definitely if I have the interview, I would like to understand from you, why do you have the gap? But that's okay. But if you have the skill set, you have the knowledge, maybe your package might be little lesser as compared to others, but then your motto currently is you want to come back and you want to be back into IT. So I think that's okay. I mean, packages you can leave back. Currently, for you, the main motto is learn something and start applying, right? Getting
Yes.
into company is important. Package like 1-2 lakh ka company mila, you're okay. For other people, it might be I want to upskill because I want to increase my pay scale. So that can be different thing.
Yes,
And yes,
definitely.
IT currently. So when I take interviews, we always prefer somebody who is technically strong. We do not focus. Okay, he have 10 years of experience. He is good for me. No, अगर ऐसे होता कि experience के basis पे hire करते तो कभी interview होते ही नहीं. So that is always important. Like
Mhm.
we try to see basics कितने clear है. Will he be able to fit to my team? We always give the marks after the interview. There are 7 pointers basically. How good he is technically, what was the attitude of the particular person. I mean, let it be a video call. I mean, in COVID, we did a lot of video calling. So we can judge from the personality because my video is always off. The person who is getting interviewed, his video is on. So we try to see his personality. Let's say when we are doing face to face, we try to give him paper pencil work. We see, I mean, if he's not able to convey orally, there are many people who cannot convey. They know many things but they cannot convey. We always give them paper pencil. Okay, try to put your thoughts here. So we judge the attitude, technical level, the personality, and whether he'll be able to fit into my team. Okay, even if he answers 5 questions out of 10, I'm okay. How logically strong is he is? Even if you do not give me all the 10 answers exactly, but if you tell me the logic, okay, this is how we can get the answer. So I understand, okay, he will be, I mean, still he's not knowing the concept, but if I'm giving him some kind of a work, वो answer तो निकाल ही लेगा उसका. So that ability we try to find out. So if this 7 pointers are clear, the person is in. So that is how, I mean, basically we analyze. So that is why basics are first part. Advanced is definitely we are going to cover more of them, and that is how it goes. Okay. So
Okay.
yes, that's it from my side. Any questions still you have? Let me know, Nikita. No worries. I like.
No,
Ah,
I'm good.
okay.
Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. So me, anything you have?
Yeah, actually, this is not course related. I want to
Haha.
know your advice,
Yes,
Ritika.
please. Haha.
Actually, I'm trying to switch the
Okay.
company because the process is going to ramp down. Is
Okay.
it okay after 6 months after I complete this course and after applying in IT? Is it good impact on my resume?
Okay. If you just help me understand what is your domain you mentioned me, you was into support, right?
Yeah, IT
Okay.
support.
IT support. So what exactly you do there?
I basically support. I basically help the client troubleshoot their software and hardware
Mm-hmm.
with minimum time possible, so they did not get.
Okay, okay, now I got it. So you are
Yeah,
into admin, okay, not admin, you are into proper IT support. Okay, where you're helping
yeah,
with the software and hardware. Okay, okay.
yes.
I thought you are into the
Sometime
support.
network and
Okay, now I
some.
got it. Okay, okay, perfect, perfect. I got it. I took it other way. I thought you are working on some technology and you are supporting the technology as a maintenance person. Okay, so you're into IT domain. Okay. No, what is the experience you mentioned? 8 months, no?
It's 8 month.
Six
Yes,
months. So that should not impact. So the good part is you're already working till the time the course is completed. 3 months is what I'm saying. It might take like 1 or 2 weeks extra. Anyways, we already got enrollments for this batch. So we are planning to start this batch from the next week only. And this is first thing. Second thing is we are going to make it a regular batch so that I personally always prefer let it be only Power BI or maybe only data analyst. Continuity is very important because I can give you some homework. You can come back to me tomorrow. Okay, I want to repeat this concept. I did not understand that. So that continuity is always good. And now when this batch is almost going to be 2.5 months and 3 months, so it's like regularity is good there. So in that cases, ultimately when you're completing your 8 months, I mean you already have 8 months. By the time you end this course, it will be like how much 11 years of 11 months of experience for you. Again you're going to take 2 to 3 months to prepare yourself and then get a job. So ultimately it is 1 year. So what you can do is you can tweak your experiences there. Okay, so maybe you can make it like your 6 months of support and 6 months of working as a not as a data analyst, because nobody will believe you that within 6 months of your time you have done Power BI, you have done SQL Server. No, that time you can pick up those two tools because Excel is like okay, that's fine. You can put it as an extra knowledge in your resume. You can put Power BI and your databases into resume. I would not recommend you for Python because Python takes a little longer time to understand and it might get difficult for you to answer the questions because when you're saying I'm already working, so we are not putting working for you can just say I have a pretty much good knowledge of Python. We're not going to put okay, what all do you know in Python? So see, resume is something where you do not put everything. You have to keep few secrets with you. अगर आपने resume में सब लिख दिया फिर आप बोलोगे क्या? Right? So you have to keep those secrets, those storylines with you. So for you, I can recommend 6 months. You can put it into your current IT support, and then you can say within the IT support only there was an in-house project. I mean, you can skip it. That I mean, not client within the same IT support. There was an in-house project for Power BI where we were getting the data from SQL Server. So I just showed my interest, and then they gave me a training, internal training of 1 month, and then I started working. So the project is still going on. So that is how you can like just put that CV and you can present yourself. Okay.
okay. Thank you, Rachel.
Yeah, yeah, no, no problem. Because for fresher level, it is difficult to get such a big platform. You're doing SQL plus Excel plus the hottest technology, Power BI and Python. So just to play safer, you can just pick up two things, either Excel or Power BI. Why I'm saying Power BI? Because like people learn Power BI in 2 months. But Python, I mean, you cannot learn all the libraries and packages in just 2-3 months. So that is how either Excel or Power BI you can put up into your resume. You learn Python, no worries. But then for resume, you can put this, and I think that should help. Any questions you have? Any else questions? Just let me know. Okay, so we are good.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, Nikita and Somi,
Thanks.
for your time. Have a good weekend. Yeah,
You too.
yeah. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Rachel.
Bye.